Okay, while we're waiting for folks, I'm going to put a link in the chat, and it's an answer garden. What I'd like you to do is think about what is the number one condition you need to optimize your learning. I want to have this conversation focus on learning and optimizing learning, and how do you learn best? So what is the number one condition, the top thing that you need to optimize your learning? And if you go to that link, it'll take you to an answer garden. And the answer garden is a powerful capturing tool. And I'd like you to answer this question. What is the most important condition to optimize your learning? Is it quiet? Is it comfort? Is it purpose? Is it humor? What's the one thing you need? Like, and you can put more than one if you have more than one condition. I know I do. But what are the most important conditions then to optimize your learning? And I'll continue to add this link to the chat as people get in. So if you're just joining us, I'm asking you to reflect. It's kind of a anticipatory experience. I'd like you to reflect upon how do you learn best? And what is the number one thing? What's the top condition you need to optimize your learning? So as folks are joining us, if you go to that, click that link, and you'll go to the answer garden. Now I should start seeing your answers pop up.
Yeah, sorry, the mute button. Now you guys can go ahead and get started.
Awesome. Greetings, Tony Alvarado. How you doing? Good to see you. That's a name I'm familiar with. Good to have you with us. Kristen Morales, nice to see you. Thanks for joining us. Good deal. Ryan Robert, good morning. Sunny Schweers, where you been all my life? You know, I love that name. All right. Now, good morning. Yeah. Okay. So whenever we're ready, Garcia, we can start. Oh, here we go. A few more folks are joining in. Let's give them a couple moments. Thanks for joining us. If you've just joined our room, I'll give it a moment to let Jeanette in the room. There you go. So for those of you that are just joining us, I put a link in the chat. If you'd be so kind just to click on that link and answer the prompt. What is the number one condition that you need to optimize your learning?
I'm sorry, Sunny, did you say there was a link somewhere?
I did. Let me put it in the chat again. So if you go to the chat, there's a link to an answer garden. And the answer garden is a data collection tool. It looks like, let me share my screen. Here's what it looks like. People have already been responding to this question. The prompt for this morning's session, I want to talk about optimizing learning optimization. You know, what is the most important condition to optimize your learning? Is it, so it looks like the number one is purpose, visuals, collaboration, engagement, good, fun, laughter. What do you need? Like to optimize your learning, what's the most important condition for you? And I'd like to just reflect upon that as we collect and gather folks here. Very good. Oh, we got 40 people here. And then what we'll do, there we go. Mariella, welcome. Okay, so I think we should get started. Garcia, I think folks can join us for the next few moments, and then we're going to get started. And then we'll kind of close up shop because that we'll have a complete group. Again, if you're just joining us, I put a link in the chat, and I'd like you to consider this question. What is the most important condition to optimize your learning? Great. Okay. Well, Garcia, should we begin?
Yes.
Yeah, I got a yes. Okay. Excellent. All right. Well, there you go. Please continue.
So here are a few slides for you guys to view. It's just welcome to Google Camp, and then just a few tips, help desk information. Today it's deeper learning with T2. All right. Oh, I think we're good.
All right. Yeah. You're in the deeper learnings. Okay. Great. Well, thank you. I think all of you were in my session. Good morning. Welcome. I'm Sunny. Okay, Michelle. Let's let her in the room. Thanks for coming to this session. Again, I put a prompt in the chat, and I'd like you to just go to that link and answer the question: what is the most important condition for optimizing your learning? So this is a follow-up to my keynote where I introduced the T2 framework and Project Moonshot EDU. The goal of Project Moonshot is to measurably double learning productivity. And the way I measure it is using effect size, the same method that John Hattie used. In fact, John has blessed my methodology, and it's a way to get effect size into the classroom. It's part of the work that I've been doing for quite some time to measure with rigor. There's a lot of discussion about engagement and about improving student learning that are just not rigorous, and we need to have rigor. We need to have methods that are reliable and valid, and so my methodology is something that you can use. So today I want to go a little bit deeper. I want to go deeper into the T2 phase. The T2 is that frame of learning, and I'm just giving you a context here. The T2 learning is the transformational learning. That's deeper learning. We talk about deeper learning a lot. We talk about how important deeper learning is, but how do we actually engage students in deeper learning? And I've developed a methodology that's been shown to reliably accelerate learning through production and contribution. So in this session, you're going to be producers and contributors. Production and contribution are the two strategies that, two principles really. They're pedagogical principles that are highly reliable. And so rather than just talk about it, I want to experience it. So this is going to be experiential. With that in mind, I'm going to stop talking and I want to learn from you. I'm going to have you play a little game here. We're going to go to a wonderful resource. By the way, here we go. We're going to do Safari, and I'm going to, oh, here's the question that I asked. What's the most important condition to optimize your learning? And it looks like this group, you need to have a purpose. I totally agree. If I don't have a purpose, my learning becomes sort of unanchored. It's not anchored to anything meaningful. You need visuals. And by the way, this tool is called Answer Garden. It's a wonderful way to get qualitative data, but with a little bit of quantitative too, a little quant in there, because as you notice, the words that appear more frequently are larger, and it tells you how many people voted for that. So you need to be engaged, but most importantly, you need purpose, you need collaboration, visuals, engagement. You need to do it. You need to see it, hear it, love it, not boring. Yeah, nobody likes boring stuff. Fun and laughter, non-threatening. See, you know how you learn. You are considered, you've considered the conditions that optimize your learning. And I think this is the very first question we need to ask students at the very first moment we meet them. How do you learn best? What are the conditions that optimize learning for you? And chances are students may not have considered that. This may be a new journey for them to learn about themselves and engage in that self-reflection, self-awareness that leads to self-determinism and self-actualization. How do you learn best? And what are the conditions you need? I suggest turning that into sort of a classroom promises and commitments. In my cyber labs, I show exactly how to do that. But now what I want to do is have you play a little game and see what you know about this work. What do you bring to it? So let's do this. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to play a little game on quizzes. So this is the T2 Transformational Deeper Learning Quiz. I love quizzes. It's free. It's easy to use. We're going to play a little game to activate your prior knowledge. And I want to see what you know about this work. So what I'd like you to do is on a different browser or even on a different device or open up a tab, go to this website, joinmyquiz.com. and enter this join code 963280. So joinmyquiz.com and then enter the join code 963280. There you go. Put in a name, put in your avatar so we know. There we go. Awesome. And let me check the chat here. Good, you got the answer garden. No, Kathy, that's not Padlet. This is the work on the optimization was on something called Answer Garden. Yep. Okay, good. Molly Large. Thank you, Molly Large, in the house, rocking and rolling. Yeah. Okay, and now oh, thank you. So you weren't seeing Answer Garden. I'll share that later. So joinmyquiz.com and then 963280. Awesome. So we have 45 people in the room. It's fantastic. It's a nice size group. This is going to be very experiential. So I'll do less of the talking in a moment and have you do the cognitive load. So again, go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the join code 963280. And by the way, this activity is an activity called the Fast and Curious. It's an EduProtocol developed by my good friends, Marlena Hebern and John Carippo. We've merged our worlds together and have developed a T3 EduProtocols Cyber Lab for teachers and Cyber Lab for leaders. And I love this protocol because it's a way to activate prior knowledge, to help students maximize their understanding of surface level details, the facts, the basic ideas, and the academic vocabulary. So again, if you're a participant, I'd like you to go to joinmyquiz.com and then enter the join code 963280. Okay, and if you haven't joined yet, that's okay. You could still join at any time. I'm going to start the quiz now, so your screens should change. And what I'd like you to do is just answer the questions as best as you can. Think about your responses and just answer them as best you can, knowing that this is the first time you've seen this information. And if you join late, that's totally okay. Just go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the join code, and let's begin. Again, if you've just joined the session, you can go to our game, go to joinmyquiz.com and enter the code 963280. Almost done. Okay, try to finish up in the next couple minutes. About 30 seconds. Okay, and in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Let's see how we did. So in third place is Sunny, in second place is Tony Alvarado, and in first place is JH. Okay. Let's see, I'm going to admit here. We had a 73% class average, and these are the mastery party folks who got 100%. Now, to be clear, if you just use quizzes to automate your formative assessment, good, do that. But don't stop there. In fact, the way I suggested, like you can see which questions were the most challenging, change things around. But this is the protocol called Fast and Curious, where you provide a preview, kind of prime the pump. And now let's review the questions, and then we're going to do it again. I'd like you to play again after I review the questions. And this time, I'd like you to just kind of work on your own score. So we're going to let some more folks in the room here. Let's review the questions. Question 1, the T3 framework contains how many domains of innovation? There are three domains of innovative learning: the translational domain, the transformational domain, and the transcendent domain. So the correct answer to this question is that there are 3 domains of innovative learning in the T3 framework. Here's the next question. The T1 translational learning domain is aligned with which stage of visible learning? The T1 is aligned with surface learning. Those are the stages in John Hattie's learning framework: surface learning, deeper learning, and knowledge transfer. And the T1 translational domain, where we use technology for automation, for consumption, is aligned with John Hattie's surface learning stage. The T2 transformational domain is aligned with which stage of visible learning? And T2 is deeper learning. At the deeper learning stage, students look at similarities and differences between previously held understanding and new knowledge. They are able to go deeper into elaborating their conceptual understanding. They can generate metaphors or similes or analogies, and they have evidence. They can support their claims, because they're generating claims at this point, generating and testing claims, but they can support their claims with valid, reliable evidence from the text or from some other valid and reliable resource. So T2 is associated with deeper learning. So what are the two elements in the T2 transformational domain of learning? And they're right here, production and contribution. And welcome, welcome. In the T2 transformational domain, the two principles or two elements are production and contribution. So that's the correct answer, production and contribution. What's an example of production? Well, students read a variety of online sources, that's consumption. They're just using digital tools to consume information. Students watching Khan Academy tutorials, that's consumption. Students responding to online questions, that's automation. That's all deep in the T1 translational domain. But production is when students express their learning by producing representations of how they think and what they know. They express representations of their knowledge and thoughts using digital tools that are creative. They express themselves and communicate their understanding. What's an example of contribution? Well, again, it's not students watching Khan Academy tutorials, that's consumption. It's not competition, so students competing is not an example. Everybody got this right. Students creating learning tutorials to teach others what they know is an example of contribution. It's one of the examples of contribution. And it's called kids teaching kids. You may be familiar with the term Abramson's jigsaw. The jigsaw is a teaching method. It's actually a learning method where a large bit of information is broken down into chunks and everyone learns one chunk and they contribute their understanding to the group. Creating a learning tutorial is a student, or it enables a student to become their own teacher and to teach what they know. Even if they have mistakes and errors, those errors can be made aware and surfaced so that a student can go back and redo it in an iterative way. Students teaching students is one of the only strategies that has a very high effect size at all three levels of learning: surface learning, deeper learning, and knowledge transfer. The T3 transcendent learning domain is aligned with which stage of learning? And the correct answer is knowledge transfer. We have to be able to apply knowledge in some new context, in a context that's different than that in which that knowledge was taught. To transfer from one context to another deepens our understanding and consolidates that deeper knowledge. We'll never consolidate deep knowledge if we don't use it. And so the T3 domain is aligned with the knowledge transfer stage of Hattie's visible learning. So let's do it again. Let's play the game again. And here we go. We're going to play again. So if you would be so kind, there we go. Go to joinmyquiz.com, enter the join code 590779, and just, you're not competing with each other, you're competing with yourself. You're trying to improve your own score. So let's see if we can get, as a class, close to 100%. Joinmyquiz.com, 590779. And thanks for the tweets. Boy, I really appreciate all the love. Thank you. Georgia Patterson said she liked my quote. Up to now, I only want to share three things: impact on learning, and impact on learning. That's great. All right, joinmyquiz.com, 590779. And this is, again, an EduProtocol that I align with the T1 with translational learning to help consolidate the basic facts, the terms and ideas. That's really important. The academic vocabulary is important. If kids don't understand the vocabulary, then they'll never understand the facts that are built with that vocabulary, right? And if they don't understand the facts that are built with the vocabulary, they'll never understand the ideas or the concepts that are constructed from facts. That's how I think it works. Terms, facts, ideas. And this is a powerful way to help students kind of preview the vocabulary and then vary their practice. So there's a little bit of time delay between when they do an assessment, do it again. And you know what we would do in class? If we didn't get 100%, we'd do it again tomorrow. Then I'd probably pause for a day or two Today is Wednesday. So maybe we do it again on Friday. Or maybe we'll we'll do it again next week and have time in between the fast and curious. That's really important because in the time that the space between, your brains are going to be working overtime. And recent neuroscience research shows that your brains are going to be processing this information at 10 times speed. It's really quite fascinating. Okay, let's begin. Again, if you're just joining us, go to joinmyquiz.com, enter the join code 590779. And it's okay if you choose not to participate. That's fine. If you just want to watch, that's cool too, but you can always join us. Let's begin. Okay. And so you know how this goes. I'll stop sharing my screen and you just focus on your screen. Doing great. Hi, Dora, welcome. We're just finishing up an activity, but you can join us in the next activity. Take about another minute to finish. Doing great. Okay. 5 more seconds. And lock in your final answer now. Here we go. Okay. We got 95% accuracy. That's awesome. And in third place, Rachel Jones. In second place is Q. And in first place is CJP. Well done. And look at this. Our class accuracy went up quite a bit, 88%. And we've got the mastery party for everybody. See, this is a fun way to, good job, everyone. Good job. Fast and Curious is a way to help learners attain. Yeah, it's a big mastery party. It is. It's awesome. And we would do it again to make sure that we got to 100%. It's a fun way to gamify the acquisition of the basic facts, the surface level details. the academic vocabulary, the facts and the concepts. And that just acquires it. I mean, that allows students to acquire this surface level knowledge. But in order to consolidate it, and that's a different neurological term, acquisition and consolidation. Acquisition is where we just use our sensory memory or our working memory to recall the basic facts, the details, the ideas. But in order to consolidate it, that shifts that knowledge from working memory to deeper, more permanent memory. And there's only one way to do that. You can't keep quizzing and quizzing and quizzing. That's not going to consolidate that knowledge. It has to be contextualized and grounded into some meaningful conversation and experience. So I'm going to show you another Edge protocol. It's a takeoff on Iron Chef. How many of you know Iron Chef? How many of you know the Iron Chef Edge protocol? It's awesome. I love Iron Chef. Marlena is just a brilliantly put together the Iron Chef, along with our good friend John Crippo. Also, two brilliant people. I just love them. We're doing all this work together. But this is a take on Iron Chef that just gives you a little bit more deeper into the work. So I'm going to clarify something I shared before, because thank you for Molly. Oh, whoops. Let's see. It's still showing that. Let's see. I'm going to go to my answer garden. There we go. Because I asked a question previously, which was, how do you learn best? What were the conditions for optimizing your learning? And I think I was showing my Padlet screen as opposed to this screen. So apologies for that, but that's okay. Here's what we decided were the things that optimize our learning: purpose, collaboration, visuals. And you can see that the number of people that voted this way. So you need to be engaged. You need to be experienced. You need to experience things. And I don't think you're alone. We all do. We all need to experience our knowledge and not just, memorize it in decontextualized ways. So now I'm going to introduce you to a version of Iron Chef that I'm calling Cybership. So we're going to break into rooms. Here's how it's going to go. We're going to break into rooms and have about 3 or 4 people per room. And what I'd like you to do is I'm going to put this link into the chat, first of all. So you're going to experience this work. And what I'd like you to do is read these directions with me, and I'll show you what to do. So the first thing you want to do is to take 10 minutes. And I'd like you to read a specific section of an article, a research article that I wrote called Disrupting Low Impact Technology Use. Read pages 4 through 7. Now, the link to the article is at the end of the directions here. Take about 10 minutes to read those 3 pages. And in your Padlet, this is a Padlet tool, you're going to be in different rooms. If you're in room 1, I'd like to hit on the plus sign and then put your name and write down 2 or 3 or the most important takeaways under your group heading. You can use an image. You can post an image. You can post a link. You can post any way to express yourself. The most important things that are your takeaways. Then take 10 minutes to discuss within your group the similarities and differences between your group. Now that's really important, because when you take notes, you're actually engaged. When you're taking the takeaways, you're actually interpreting and representing your interpretation. So you're actually generating a claim. You may not know it, but you're going to be generating and testing a claim about your understanding, the meaning that you're deriving from what I've written. So then take 10 minutes and talk about it. Talk about the similarities and differences with your group. Then take 5 minutes to post your most important takeaways using words and images. So, and again, the link to the article is here in the Google Camp, and hopefully you can see this article. Give me a thumbs up if you can see this article. I think you can. Right on, Molly. Thank you. It's called Disrupting Low Impact Technologies. I wrote it as a companion to Disruptive Classroom Technologies to introduce the research behind this. John Hattie's review is there. And what I'd like you to do is just read pages 4 through 7. And let me go right to there. I want you to read, I'd like you to read the section on, with this heading, Transformational Technology Use. What does the research say about the strategies in the transformational technology use settings? So 4, 5, 6, and just this section, just that section. Okay. And then in your groups, you're going to discuss it, have your takeaways, 10 minutes to read the article and write your takeaways, 10 minutes to discuss it, 5 minutes to post the most important things that matter to your group. And it looks like we've got 46 people. So we're going to break that into groups right now. And let's see. We're going to do, we'll do 15, we'll do 14 groups. So some of you may have 4 people in the group. That's totally okay. So you'll be in rooms 1 through 14 and find the column in the Padlet for rooms 1 to 14. I'm going to put the Padlet on the chat just one more time. Make sure you got it. And if you have any questions, you can, here we go. Hang on a second, let me just make sure I got the Padlet. Give me a thumbs up if you have the Padlet. Everybody's got it. Okay, good. Oh, Gracia, thank you very much. She's done it already. Okay, so 10 minutes to read and take notes, 10 minutes to discuss. We'll come back in about 20 minutes or so. If you have any questions, and so there is a question. You want me to clarify? Yes, it's on the page numbers on the PDF. The page numbers are, let me show you again where that goes. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. So you're going to read pages 4 through 7 of this article. And the article 4 through 7, I want you to focus on the transcendent, the T2 domain of learning. You can skim the front matter. So this is really about the T3 framework, and read pages 4, starting 4, 5, 6, and you can actually just do page 4 and 5. You won't need to read about the transcendent muse unless you want to. So let me change that to just read 4 and 5. 4 through 5, make it a little bit easier. Oh, it's all right, I'll change that later. Okay, does that make sense? There you go. Okay, and give me a thumbs up if you're ready to go. All right, and away we go. Hi, Gracia, thanks very much for your help.
You're welcome.
Okay, good. Now everybody be able to unmute and chat in the rooms, right? So now we're going to let them go a little bit deeper, about 15, 20 minutes or so. We may not have enough time for everything, but that way they'll have an experience. This is experiential learning, and it's far more important to then follow a surface learning experience like we just did with Fast and Furious with a cyber chef or a cyber sandwich or an iron chef. Make sense?
Do you want me to go to the rooms and just copy and paste the Padlet and then the document and the page numbers?
Well, no, it's all in the Padlet. All the directions are in the Padlet.
Okay.
So I think everybody's ready to go. And what we can do is we just hang out, and I'm going to pop in the rooms after the 10 minutes because I like people. It usually works well. Folks kind of orient themselves and they get together and like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? The first time you do something like this, there's always more questions, and because people are unfamiliar with this particular protocol. But the more you do it, then it becomes second nature. And so it comes to the point where, you know, students, the first time they do it, kids are going to have the same questions. They're going to have the same experiences that teachers have. And so it's important for teachers to experience the same questions that students have.
That's right.
You know, as students.
This makes perfect, right?
Yeah, it's nice, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and everybody's voice matters, you know?
Yeah.
Everybody's voice matters. So good. People are already posting, so that's good.
Let me know if you need anything, okay?
Okay, yeah, we're all set. I'm going to let them read and take their notes, and I'll just be on standby for a moment, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks.